Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss a stainless steel and sapphire limited edition of 25 pieces built in the 2015 model year from the revived Angelus brand. This is the U10 Tourbillon Lumiere, a watch created under the aegis of Head of Development Sébastien Charles-Montet. It is a sort of sub-brand of the manufacturer La which also owns Arnold & Son, and which is itself owned by Citizen of Japan. So La is the manufacturer, Arnold & Son is their larger brand, which is luxury. Angelus was brought back from oblivion as a sort of super luxury brand within the La family. And this watch right here features three complications, if you consider a tourbillon a complication, as we have a flying tourbillon, we have deadbeat seconds, and then we have a power reserve indicator. This watch has many different inspirations. There were the Angelus travel clocks from the 1930s through 1960s. There was the Donny 14 transistor TV, 60s and 70s German and Italian industrial design, Rams record players, RR126 stereo systems. All sorts of things went into this design, but I think it works best if you just think of it as a cool watch and none of those things specifically. It's also really easy to wear. Although it's weighty, being as large as it is, the timepiece is short across the wrist, and this is the critical measurement. 43.7 millimeters from lug to lug. It is 15 millimeters thick, though broad down the wrist. We know that type of watch tends to wear smaller. So 62.7 millimeters from end to end, not inclusive of the crown. And you're going to see on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference just how well it wears. Now, super long down the wrist, but also not a problem. Look how far inboard of the edge of my wrist this is on each side. A woman with the right kind of mentality and panache could fit this and wear this comfortably, as could people like myself with small wrists. It's a fascinating and unusual watch, and it's got a lot of charisma. In many ways, it's a good thing that its inspirations are so esoteric, because taking it on its own terms, it feels incredibly fresh, not really derivative of anything. And one more time down the barrel, it might fit underneath the cuff even, because they tapered the profile adjacent to your sleeve, assuming you're wearing this on your left hand. So all sorts of appeal ergonomically and sartorially right here. The strap is super high grade, large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather in sort of semi-gloss black. We've got a monotone stitch. We have a really broad sheer cut side with lacquering for refinement. Look how thick that leather is. They're not shorting you the leather. Then on the bottom, we have what appears to be Alcantara, a super high-end synthetic suede. You'll appreciate that screws and bars are used to fix the strap to the case. As large, heavy, and expensive as this watch is, that is a reassuring refinement. No spring bars here. Taking a look at the strap, brand new, no crimping, no gouging. We've got an Angelus monogram that runs continuously, and of course the brand name of the company as well. Hand cut, nicely made. We have here a double folding clasp. You can see it's Angelus branded internally, and it features a buckle with the Angelus A and a combination of polish and satin. Taking a quick look at how it goes together, it's a friction fit, just like that. Okay, now, taking a look at the case itself, there are a lot of viewports. So this idea that it is the U10 Tourbillon Lumiere, the light comes from external sources. It's not internal so much. The watch is not elaborately loomed. As you can see, the black variant of Super Luminova is here. And while it exists, and it actually appears on the flank, on the power reserve, there's a small amount of the material. It's almost impossible to see. Everyone knows the black version of Super Luminova is mostly there for styling when the lights are on. I just thought I'd be complete and show you that it does in fact have some lume. So the Lumiere is going to be your internal lighting system at your office or house or the sun. And it does create a number of handsome vitrines for the works. On the dial proper, you can see that there's a lovely cambered sapphire that acts as the dial base. And then we have a lovely counterweighted Lancet-style deadbeat seconds hand We have satin brushed baton style hour and minutes, and then there's a sunray motif underneath. The movement sits just below, and you can actually see part of it through. All of these sapphires are boxed, which means all of the sapphires, including the ones in profile, are quite expensive and complex to make. And despite that, and the number of sapphires as well, the watch still has standard 30-meter water resistance, just like any formal or dress style watch would. The watch does not feature hacking seconds, I know because I tried. It continues to operate even when you pull the crown. We have a tourbillon that acts as an alternative seconds display. This would be your running seconds, and this is your deadbeat. So this makes 1 circuit per minute. It beats away at a stately pocket watch like 18,000 vibrations per hour, and it features an overcoil hairspring, so in pretty much any physical orientation, thanks to the even weighting of the overcoil, it's going to keep very consistent time in each position. It is beautifully decorated, and I would go so far as to say the tourbillon structure itself is the most elaborately and intricately finished component of the whole movement. You will find it leaves very little to be desired in that regard. Getting close, you can even see that the underlying components, such as the bridges for the escapement, feature satination and micro beveling. So that's really well done. The movement is more or less the size and shape of the case, since it extends from the underpinning of the tourbillon all the way to the crown. Now this is caliber 100. It's got twin barrels with mainsprings that are specifically phased to create a very flat torque curve, so it doesn't really gallop and gain a ton of time when it's fully wound, and it doesn't start losing a lot of time after 24 or 48 or even 72 hours, and it has a 90-hour power reserve. All this pivots on 38 joules, and though it's not perfectly obvious, this rather techno-industrial looking thing is made of German silver. So nickel, copper, and zinc, and then some rhodium is applied to give it a more silvery look as opposed to the golden tones generally associated with Maillot or German silver. We have polished screw heads. We have sunray motifs on the ratchet wheels as well as the crown wheel and adjacent wheel. There's a little satin finished click with beveling on its side. You can see that the bridges, such as they are, there's not a ton of them visible, but they do have beveling on their edges. And then the screw heads have chamfered slots and circumference. It is a good looking movement, albeit a very unconventional one. But a big part of the fun is that you can easily see the most impressive part of the caliber on the dial side. Manual wind watch, and we have this little power reserve indicator that's designed to work a little bit like the fuel gauge of an automobile. This watch is simply rife with fun details. The case features a combination of polish and satination, and you can see the Angelus crown, which is alternately blackened and polished. This is a wonderfully detailed watch that will keep you coming back for more, as the longer you look at it, the more you see. You can see those lovely pillars suspending the tourbillon carriage and how they're mirror polished around their edges. This is a deeply impressive watch, and with only 25 in the world, even I've only seen one of them. So if you want something super different, something that offers superb ergonomics, but at the same time great wrist presence, mechanical sophistication, and beauty, and also comes from a company that'll be around forever to service this, since Citizen money is behind La Joux-Perret and Angelus, this is a great option. It's almost like buying a super boutique independent with volumes and complexity to match, but with none of the temperamental, artistic, or financial problems that often shroud a lot of those independent manufacturers. This is a great way to just enjoy a really cool watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.